It's not even that difficult, really. You got to take a wide receiver in the first round. It's my strategy, really, no matter what. I mean,
Right now, what is up, Rethink Reality? We are here back with another one. And if you already saw the title of this podcast, you know what it is. This is basically a beginner's guide for fantasy breakdown. And you have three degenerates who study the fantasy, who understand exactly what you need to do. And yeah, we actually have our league's biggest disappointment here in the building, too. So give it a round here for Carson Ayers. Yeah.
yeah, so been unlucky last year. I did get last place, but yeah, it's a new year. We're going to fire it up.
Yeah, new year, but you still remember your fucking piece of shit. Scored the most in the league, but still yet found a way to get last place. Damn, how does that even happen, man? It's fucking.
I just wanted to chase new records, really. It's never been done before in the league, so.
Yeah, damn, man, fuck. So yeah, all right, let's talk. So I'm assuming you've been on the drawing board a lot. You've been trying to figure out exactly how the fuck can I get back to the top because last year fucking sucked, man. I hated having to pay double being the last guy. What's your draft strategies? What are you thinking? This is a beginner's guide, so we can break it down. We can start from the top. We can just start about people you like. Like, take us in a direction. Be our messiah right now.
Yeah, so, yeah, man. It's not even that difficult, really. You got to take a wide receiver in the first round. It's my strategy, really, no matter what. I mean, depending on if you're towards the lower of the round, you could take a top tight end like a Kelsey. But running backs they don't have that value like wide receivers nowadays. I've lost like Cooper Kupp 2 years ago. I've lost to Jamar last year. It's wide receiver heavy and intensive. So if you get that bell cow wide receiver, that's a good first step leaving the first round.
Okay. Are you staying away from like a C-Mac person if you can get them? Or
yeah, like a PPR running back kind of. Yeah, I mean, in the first round, 100%. I mean, I'm not a fan of it personally. I'll let other people do that strategy. I know they'll take it over. But yeah, you just have more consistency with that wide receiver, especially on the top end. If you're drafting it right. For me, I really like Jamar, and I still like Justin Jefferson. They're gonna keep putting in solid numbers each week. Jamar averaged like 7-8 catches a game last year. Justin Jefferson is still a dog in Vikings country, so those are definitely still my top two picks.
All right, so hold on, I gotta figure out where you stand at. In a 12-man league, at what position does Christian McCaffrey fall to until you pick him up?
Well, it's obviously obviously depends on where I get drafted. Yeah, I mean he's top three. He's top three, obviously. But even with that being said, if I'm third and he hasn't been picked up somehow, and Jefferson or Chase is on the board, I'm taking them. I value them a lot higher. Albeit, the person who drafts McCaffrey, he's going to do well. It's just that my strategy, I work better doing a wide receiver up front.
Well, odds are Jefferson and Chase would get picked first. So then it would be McCaffrey sitting there, Tyreek, Eckler, Kelsey, Kupp,
Cooper,
Diggs. Those are probably those top people in the beginning that are targeting. So I'm saying, at what position are you sitting there? Like, are you picking up Tyreek before Christian McCaffrey? Are you picking up Kelsey before McCaffrey? Are you picking up Kupp before McCaffrey? I'm trying to figure out where is your bottom on McCaffrey because McCaffrey is the most elite running back.
He is, and this is going to be a little bit of bias, but I like Eckler a lot more. He does it all on the ground and in the passing game, and obviously being a Chargers fan. So I would take him and the McCaffrey. But probably 4 then 4 or 3 because 3 I'd go Chase, Jefferson, Eckler, McCaffrey. Personally.
So you're expecting Chase to have a big year then, right?
Yeah, they're gonna keep grinding. I don't expect the Bengals necessarily to be top of the division, but Joe Burrow or whoever's playing week 1 if he's not back with his injury, they're gonna keep feeding him. Like my boy can cook all day long.
Does your opinion change if Joe Burrow's not healthy week 1, week 2?
No, not at all. I don't have the stats on me, but I believe Burrow missed like a week or 2 last season, and Chase is still the number 1. He still performed. It's just kind of how it works with star receivers. You can have fucking Johnny Manziel in there, and they're gonna catch the ball and get 20 points.
Okay.
Well, because we're in PPR, I mean that helps out a lot.
Well, I'm curious if you're high on Chase, then you gotta be high on Burrow. You looking to stack?
Nah, I see. So that's where my strategy is interesting. QB, I let them all fall. You can take your Lamar, you can take your Fields, your Allen, whoever. I'll get like that 6 to 10 range of QBs.
All right, so who's that 6 to 10 range? Because to be honest, there is a wide variant. I'll be honest, in that range right now, I feel like the
Yeah.
one that's urging out is right now Deshaun Watson, who's urging out of that
You
range.
you think Deshaun? Yeah, I'm pretty low on the Browns. I think they're dog shit. They have
Yeah,
a
say it a little
brilliant
louder. Say it a little fucking louder.
they have a brilliant running back room. They have one of the best defensive lines. Don't get me wrong. But something about Deshaun being out for 2 years. Like, yes, this is his first full off season technically with the Browns. It's just a tough division. I don't think he's going to do as hot as people think.
Okay.
They'll be like a 8, 9 win team in one of the best divisions of football, but they're probably going to be third or fourth, personally. As far as top QB, I know I see a couple of the ADPs. It looks like some of them have Mahomes first, which doesn't run enough for me. Um, I really like Jalen, your boy, and I really like
Oh, boy.
Justin Fields. I think the Bears are going to pop the fuck off this year. They're going to be number
Oh,
one in the division. I mean, they just have all the pieces. I'm not saying Fields is a stud, but it's going to kind of be like a Lamar Jackson-esque ascent. He can run. He had like that 175-yard rushing game last season. That's what put him on the map, really, with those kind of skills and
yeah.
assets. So I'd take him. If you're going to draft quarterbacks early, I'd take him probably round 3.
Okay. Around 3. Holy fuck, that's going way above than what he's actually going at. He's going at like right around like 4 or 5 right now. In a
Yeah.
What's your
12-man
strategy
league.
here?
Or 12-man
What's your
league.
draft strategy here? Are you going WR1, WR2, WR1, RB1? Like, who gets
Yeah,
second?
yeah. I mean, so in the second round, personally, I like being towards the back of the first round, and then obviously the beginning of the second round.
Yeah.
Um, Kind of going closer to back to back. I just like it. You feel like you see the board better, and you don't have that pressure of taking number one pick or 2 or 3 and be like, they're a bust, right? Yeah, it depends. Depends on who's available. If you have all the way up to it's fine. All the way up to Diggs, I'd probably still take a wide receiver in the second round, depending on where I'm at. But if you have like a Bijan somehow, or Saquon, I would consider taking them. Jonathan Taylor's in that top 5, 6, 7 range. I'm very out on him this year. Do not fucking draft this kid. He's already a problem in the locker room. He has a lingering injury that's either his ankle or his back. No one's sure. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. And he'll probably get injured anyway. So whoever
Yeah.
takes him top, someone will. Probably even first round in our league. Yeah, good luck. Good luck. They'll
Dude,
be where
I,
I
I,
was last
I
year.
think he's this year's biggest like avoid candidate because just
Yeah.
like you're saying, everything that's going on. I mean, they say right now like, currently he's hurt, but he is saying like I'm not coming out there until I'm 100%. Like there's a lot of back and forth
Yeah.
between him and the owner. And I mean, this is just kind of the life we live in right now with running backs. They don't get paid. People like Zeke, people like Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, he fell off.
Kind of fucked it up for some people. So.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see nowadays because I mean, like Eckler's another big one who's out there. He's chirping a lot about getting paid. He's not getting paid, so it's interesting to see. But I feel like I agree with you. So you take the wide receiver first round. I'll be honest, I'm not that frowned upon on depending on where Kelsey falls. If I'm sitting there close to that turn, Kelsey's still sitting there. I'm pounding Kelsey
There's always that
because,
guy in the league.
bro. No, this is why. He is that's the biggest separator at any position, bro. Kelsey between everybody else. Yeah, Mark Andrews. You know what? Okay, if you trust in Lamar's coming back, Lamar's gonna do his whole thing, then that's your trust. I've never trusted Lamar like that. I think he's gonna be good. I think that room too is gonna be interesting. I think Bateman's gonna get injured. Odell will be good for how long? I don't know because it's just how long can he last. Zay Flowers, I mean, obviously there's something about rookie wide receivers that end up doing pretty good, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of I don't know. The only one who's I don't know is Mark Andrews, but the thing is, problem is too, bro. They got Isaiah Likely coming out there, and I'm not gonna lie, he kind of shined a little bit last year.
Yeah,
I
he
don't
was
think
a
he's gonna be
stud.
over Mark Andrews, but
No, I see what you're saying. I mean, 100%. If you're at the bottom of the round and maybe you missed out on top 3 wide receivers, McCaffrey, Eckler, Bijan Henry, whatnot. Yeah, I mean, you should pick up Kelsey. He was a clear separator. You're correct last year, way ahead of the rest. Part of that was because Andrews did get injured. Maybe if he was still there, who knows? I actually also am big on the Ravens this year. They would have been amazing last year. They still were good. They were like 10, 11 win team with all the
Yeah.
bullshit going on, contract year. Now they're even better. They drafted Zay Flowers. They're healthier. But with that being said, it's yes, never trust a Ravens wide receiver. Always trust their tight end. But it's going to be interesting this year because they have a more well-rounded receiving group. It's not
Yeah.
bottom three anymore. Maybe it's fringe top 15. So you just got to kind of wait and see as far as drafting wise. I mean, yeah, Mark Andrews should be your first draft pick if you're going for the offense there, and it's not Lamar.
And I believe Dobbins just came off the pub list, so
Yeah.
that's also something to add that's going to help just that whole entire offense. But I personally think if you're going to pick up Mark Andrews, if you're a beginner, you're going to pick up Mark Andrews, best place to pick him up is if you have a top 4 pick and you pick him up in the 3rd round on the turn. I think that's where you get the best value out of him because you get 2 top picks, but then at the same time, if he falls to that point, because Mark Andrews is a 2nd rounder, I think that's a good place to pick him up if you're going to pick him up.
Mm-hmm.
But and Kelsey I think is a good pickup in the back half. I don't like Kelsey over Diggs or the problem. Dude, what's happening with Cup, bro? What's up with Cup? I hear about these injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Matt Stafford is he's getting to a point where he's a little fragile. I mean, that
Yeah.
offense is going to be behind, dude. They're going to be behind in about every game. That defense is probably going to be the worst in the league. One
Yeah.
of between them and like Arizona. So
Yeah. Yeah. Cup's injury is definitely concerning. Obviously, people definitely look at him, look at draft boards, and think of his record season. So those days are long behind. Those Rams are long behind. They peaked. They're definitely going to be better than last year. They also have a fresh coaching staff kind of across the board, which is good for McVay and his creativity. So, I mean, they'll be better this year. And as far as Cup, you're probably looking at that like 14, 1,500 receiving yards, maybe 16. So, I mean, he's still a good pickup, but, over like, I honestly, either receiver on the, Tyreek Hill, not Jalen Waddle. I wouldn't take him over Hill. I wouldn't take him over, Chase Jefferson. Diggs,
Yeah.
you could maybe, now you're like deliberating. Devontae, kind of deliberating. I don't think he'll be as much of a bell cow receiver. Will still be a stud because he's top 2 in the league, but yeah.
yeah, it's correct. So all right, us 3, we're going to give up. We'll start with Scadger. Out of the first round, who is someone that you would like to leave with out of the first round possible? And I mean, you can include one of the top 3, but
You mean who's somebody I'd rather take in the first round?
Who's someone you're looking to take in the first round this year?
Well, it depends on the order, right? Obviously, if I'm top 3, I'm going to choose
Top
Chase
3.
Jefferson or C-Mac. I mean, Cooper Cup's not in the same league as, Jefferson or Chase, but he's still up there. I think the top 3 should go Chase, Jefferson, C-Mac. I do worry, like what Carson said, drafting a running back first, but I just think C-Mac has too much of a ceiling, him and Eckler, to pass up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're counting on Elijah Mitchell to play 17 games. That shit ain't happening. Ain't no way in hell that's happening. And then you got George Kittle. He ain't playing 17 games.
Well, C-Mac might not play 17 games either. If he
Yeah,
gets hurt.
exactly. That's the thing too. Like just the liability aspect. Running backs, they're less valuable because I just feel like they're all getting injured across the board more now. Another reason why I like Eckler is he's pretty injury prone. So for me, like if I'm in that top 5, I like him better than McCaffrey just because of that durability. Sure, McCaffrey probably has a higher ceiling because of usage. I still would rather have Eckler because it's long term. I want my star players to be there week
But with
16,
that
17,
usage-
18.
With that usage, he promotes more injury, could be more prone to injury as opposed to maybe Eckler, who they'll be more reserved.
Yeah.
I mean, Herbert's got a lot of weapons this year. And
Yeah, he does.
Going to be aggressive. So
He does. And on that note, wide receivers for the Chargers, again, another offense that really should be top 5, but they always mess it up because they have a defensive coach, head coach. Yeah, QJ, Quentin Johnston is going to be a dog, and pretty much when Mike Williams gets hurt this year, because he will be hurt,
Quentin Johnson's
QJ,
not gonna be a
QJ,
dog. Fuck
QJ,
outta
QJ
here.
will now a dog in sense of good for your team, good for high pointing balls, getting targets in the red zone.
Puts the ball like she's like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Him
yeah,
and
yeah,
Joshua Palmer are gonna be having fun. Nah, Mike
yeah.
Williams
Joshua
not gonna be there
Palmer.
by the end. Keenan Allen's gonna pull a
Yeah,
finger and he's gonna be out for
he
three
probably will.
months.
Yeah,
Uh,
he probably will. That's why a sleeper tight end, either starter or backup down the road, Gerald Everett, always a good one, very
yeah.
athletic. Now this is obviously way further down in the rounds, but it just
I
depends
think
on
you
where
get
you're
him
at
on
on your
free
tight ends.
agency, man.
Hey, I got a question
Yeah,
for
you'll
you.
be surprised. Yeah, go
Is there
ahead.
is there any world, and I mean any world, in which you go RB1, RB2, first and second pick?
Yes.
No chance. Because I think part of it too is that I did that, maybe 3 or 4 years back, in one of my leagues, and I was close. I was close to the bottom. Last year was a big asterisk, big stain on my record. It was the first time I've ever been last in any league in 11 years of fantasy. So it definitely hurt the ego. And I'm now further on the away from the fence. I'm fucking in another state. I'm never drafting a running back first round or back to back. Like it's a passing league. Fuck those guys. They don't deserve to be paid at all. Pay your wide receivers more. They deserve it. They're cooler as well. Yeah,
So
nah.
even if you get C-Mac and Eckler in the first round, somehow, some way that happens, you're
I
not
mean,
getting.
you'd have to be in like a league full of some interesting candidates.
Yeah,
They're both.
there's no way that's happening. I think what you could do is
I
this.
know. I'm just
You
saying.
could take McCaffrey, like if he fell all the way down, people thought they wanted to get the passes. So they got Hill,
Yeah.
Chase, Justin all the way, and then they have someone like Carson who picked Eckler up before Caffrey. You get Caffrey at 5. You could spin around and then maybe pick up like a Tony Pollard or a Nick Chubb, and then that next round you get Chris
Yeah.
Olave as your wide receiver 1. And to be honest, I think that is not terrible, but it's also a long shot. I don't think it's going to happen in many leagues. But
Yeah.
I,
I
it's
did that for my
possible,
work league
but
last
it's
year. That did not work out. I picked
There you go. There's your
I picked
example.
Mixon and I think Dalvin Cook first or some shit like that.
Yeah.
That was
Mixon
awful.
literally only did one thing good last year, a 50-point game. I mean, that completely boosted his stats. He was mid, and that's due to the Bengals not being able to run the ball. They didn't have a good offensive line. It's been rebuilding for years. We'll see how it goes this year. Yeah, it just comes down to you have Eckler and McCaffrey, right? They're your top two. That's kind of for me the drop off. That's your elite tier. Then after that, I mean, even Derrick Henry, I think he's the top of the next tier. Maybe Saquon as well because of PPR. I'm really big on Bijan. Probably after those 4 guys. It's a very run-heavy offense. You saw some good things out of less talented running backs last year on that team. So like Huntley and Caleb Huntley, whatever their dumbass names were, they all suck. I hope they're out the league. But Bijan, he's going to be a bell cow.
yeah.
And you just have a lot of options around two for running backs. If you want to go WR, then running back. Or if you're really lucky, you can go WR1, WR2. You can maybe get a top 10 running back, maybe in round 3 towards the middle. But that depends on how your league drafts.
Yeah, I mean, it depends too. Me, like you can look right now. I believe there's a lot of people in that 5-6 round. Well, now I guess Brees Hall is really getting pushed down with the ad of Dalvin Cook.
Yeah,
It could be a
that's a
league
big one.
winner. That could be a league winner as far as the back half. But you got people who are hanging out in this 5, 6, or even 7. Who are just going to list them off: Damian Pierce, Cameron Akers, James Conner, and Rasheed White. Let's see. And you got people like Javonte Williams, who is somehow, some way not on the pub list and playing and projected to play week 1. I mean, I think these are people who have high upside, who are in situations where majority of them catch the ball and they run. I mean, Damian Pierce is probably the only one who's not, but these are all people who are kind of still bell cow running backs, but you're getting them super late, and you can pick up these wide receivers and you can take better shots on different people. I mean, it's just, or like if you wait a little bit later too, so you're talking about taking those first wide receivers, you can hit on people like who are Aaron Jones or Jamar Gibbs, because I mean, I think those are people who have chances to pop off. But talking about tiers, you're saying I think the tier break for the first kind of that first to second tier running backs is right at Ramondre, especially with the addition of Ezekiel Elliott now, because that's just he's going to take away a lot of goal line work from Ramondre.
Yeah, Ramondre would get the yards, but I mean touchdowns now that scares me. And you
Yeah.
definitely don't want anyone to fall in that trap of again big name hype. Like Ezekiel, yes, obviously very talented, but yeah, it's just gonna ruin that team in terms of fantasy value for us. So for me again, yeah, that'd be like a later, mid round, towards the bottom of that tier. I'd rather just let someone else take that. If you're in that area, let's see, I'm looking at Ramondre at RB10. After that, it says Mixon, Jones, Etienne. Shit, I'd take Etienne. I mean, at 13, that's not. I think he's higher than that.
What do you think
Pass
about
catching.
ETN though with Tank being there now?
I mean, it shouldn't matter too much. Etienne's a good pass catcher, so if he does have some usage taken away, at least he'll get that PPR.
Hey, he is a good
Um,
pass catcher, but I think you look it up, bro. He barely caught any passes last year. They did not feed him the ball at all.
yeah. Well, I think you're going to see regression. Not that they're not talented. You're going to see regression in the Jaguars. They'll probably be around the same record or one below, but just in terms of offensive output, people are going to slowly figure it out, and they'll win their division because it's a pretty bad division, pretty shite.
You don't think Titans are going to come out? You don't think
They're
Derrick
no,
Henry's
they're
got
gonna
one
give
more
him
in the tank?
they're gonna give him a hell of a push. I mean, I'm not knocking the Titans out. Don't get me wrong. Colts easily bottom of that division, then the Texans. They're gonna give him a push. I mean, it'll probably be one of those things, especially with that division, comes down to the last couple weeks. Maybe even a matchup between those two teams. I don't have the schedule up in front of me, but yeah, it'll be close. With that being said, though, Texans running back, I would stay away. He got tired towards the end of the season last year. Pierce,
Yeah,
he definitely had his rookie
sure.
wall. Maybe he bounces back, but I do really like PPR running backs at RB1 or RB2 if available.
Yeah, I mean, I
Um,
think there was someone that was talking on a sports pod. I don't have the stats on me, but they were talking about how bad QB or running backs end up doing with rookie QBs. So they were grouping people like Miles Sanders, they're grouping people like Damian Pierce, who have these rookie QBs who are not checking down the ball like to throw it. They're not doing that.
yeah,
They're already struggling at their position, and I mean the running back is always set up. I mean, it's best unless you're Derrick Henry, unless you set up your pass. That's how you make your running backs even better.
right.
I think that's why Damian hit such a big wall because he's got to the point, bro. He just ran way too many people over and was getting beat too much, bro.
Yeah,
It was just shitty offense. So I think
yeah,
that's similar for him and Carolina, but um, it should. I don't know. It's like it's interesting to figure out that kind of area on where everybody's going. Because to be honest, I've been thinking more of picking people like James Conner, K Makers, and possibly Rasheed White. I don't know yet. The only reason I like it is because Baker, he's someone who's veteran enough to check balls down. And I mean, White he's White's not the best player, but he's in a backfield where nobody's there. Um,
yeah, yeah. There's opportunity. I mean, that's definitely a good mid to late round.
But I'm doing
RB
that
four.
if I'm drafting hell wide receivers first. That's where I'm
Right,
looking
right. I mean,
because you're
ideally, no matter what, even with me being very wide receiver heavy, it depends. So round two, like I said, if McCaffrey won't be there, Eckler won't be there, Henry Bijan probably won't be there. So if Saquon's there, top of round two, I'm taking him probably. Assuming a Diggs or an Adams didn't fall. But if I do not take an RB1 in round two, it's like a top tier RB2 in round three. And I might take back to back, just depending on what it's shaping up to be like.
well,
Or I've done this in the past, overdraft on like a round five RB. It's half worked, half not. We'll see.
see that's the problem though. But look who's going round three right now. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, majority of the people: it's Ramondre Stevenson, Josh
Mm-hmm.
Jacobs, Jonathan
Mm-hmm.
Taylor, Najee Harris, Joe Mixon. Like that's kind of those running backs in that league and in
Yeah.
that area. And to be honest, bro, I think that is a fat dead zone. I think Ramondre might be the only one. Depends if Josh Jacobs come back to camp, which we don't know what's going to happen. I'm assuming he's going to because he's not going to go without pay. He's
Yeah.
got to get some kind of money for the year.
Yeah, he'll come back.
But if he doesn't come back, I don't know. That's just like Najee's just someone who's just going to get fucking fed the ball, but he's not
Yeah.
that efficient. Um,
And
I
he's
don't know.
good around the goal line too. I mean, he'll pick up touchdowns. He'll easily have 8 to 10. And the Steelers, you would think Pickett will do a little bit better. Again, they're gonna have a winning record or 500 record rather,
Yeah.
because of that crazy statistic from Tomlin. So they're probably gonna finish at 9 if it's a great season, 10, realistically. But yeah, I mean, Najee's good. It's good for Pickett to have that fail safe. And like I said, he's really good around the goal line. Um,
Yeah.
Now, in that range, I'd probably take Gibbs over him because pass catching, kid is wicked fast.
Yeah.
And that's a Lions team that I do love. I'm concerned. I don't know if they peaked or not last year. Maybe if Campbell's magic ran out.
They are the
Um,
Lions.
they are the fucking Lions. But that division is probably
Yeah.
one of the most wide open divisions right now. You know, I can make a case for any team to win the division. Um, but yeah, so and with the cold too. I mean, you can never go wrong drafting an NFC North running back. They're all going to get some good yards, all 1,000-yard rushers.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I don't know. Like, Scatty, what do you think about regression or progression or whatever for the Steelers? I feel like they got to be better, at least touchdown. They got to get more touchdowns this year. I think last year they were like one of the worst as far as scoring. So you had people like I think a lot of people have been chirping. What's his name? The wide receiver for Steelers,
Like
George
Deontay
Figgins.
Johnson. Deontay
Oh, that
Johnson.
one. Yeah,
They're
yeah.
talking about him making a lot of positive regression this year because I can't remember what the stat was, but he ended up having I think like 0 touchdowns last year, which was pretty insane. For
Yeah,
him, considering
yeah,
what
he
he
got a
was
lot of
doing.
yards, high usage, but he has not scored touchdowns. That's what Pickens should be. But again, that Pickens depends on Pickett to do better, to do, be more aggressive with his throws, get it more to his pass catch to the end zone, and not rely on Najee around the goal line.
They
And
got
I don't
Allen
know if he's ready for
Robinson.
that step yet.
They
It,
got Allen Robinson.
I mean, yeah, he'll get a couple. He'll get like 3 or 4. He's all
Did
right.
y'all ever buy into the hype of Allen Robinson last year?
Um,
A little
yeah,
bit.
kind
A
of.
little
I won't lie.
bit.
I won't lie.
Yeah.
Hey,
Didn't pick
Carson,
him up, but
we talked a little bit about running backs and wide receivers. Can you tier the QBs real quick?
Yeah.
yeah. Here, sorry. So QB wise, obviously, you want either ridiculous QBs, almost go status of Mahomes. That's literally it. Or you go with your dual threat. Personally, I'm more dual threat, so again, I can let someone take Mahomes if they want him at QB1. I know a couple people have him there. But yeah, like I said, I mean, Hurts, Fields, or Lamar. I mean, they're all up there. I personally, like I said, have Fields higher. I think Hurts is still going to be a dog. I don't really see any regression from them. Besides, obviously, they can't win the division because of, again, the random statistic. Boys are taking that
Yeah.
shit. They're
Dude,
going to be
something's got
dogs.
to crack, bro. Something's got to
I don't
crack.
know. I mean, if there's any, I feel like this happens every year because the Cowboys had this like 5 years back. But if there's any team that can break that curse, if you want to call it that, it should be the Eagles. I mean, they're just so studded. They keep drafting even better players, drafting Nolan
Yeah,
Smith. Like
boy, fucking
they are
Rob. Howie's in
dogs.
his element, baby. Howie's in his
Yeah,
fucking element.
it's one of the best run teams. So I mean, they should, and they're odds-on favorite. They should win that division. I just
No, I
that
agree with
statistic's
you.
enough for me. You know what I mean?
I agree
But
with
yeah, I
you,
mean
man.
those are
It's scary.
the top four. Really, I think after that, oh, and Josh Allen, of course. I gotta forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it falls off. Deshaun maybe his ceiling is probably right below those guys in the next tier. But as well, he's got a running back that he'll probably Chubb he'll use a ton. I mean, Chubb's always got incredibly high usage on that team. As far as maybe taking away more run plays from Deshaun, maybe they run him more. Who knows? But I just don't think his ceiling's as high as that tier. But maybe that next tier he should be there,
Yeah.
as well as Joe Burrow. He'd be leading that next tier as well. But I mean, he could be lower than that too because that injury is he going to be out just week 1? Is it week 1, 2, 3? That
Yeah.
affects my draft strategy.
Do you think T-Law's in that second tier at all?
Yeah, he'd probably be.
Shit.
I mean, not
Hell
towards the
no.
top, not towards the top.
Bro, I think the tiers break down. It's you got Patrick Mahomes, Allen Hurts, and then it goes to the next tier of Lamar, Joe Burrow, Fields, and then I think it breaks down to Herbert and like T. Law, and T-Law, Deshaun Watson, and then after that, it's just kind of like it's going to be what it is. After that's how I feel like it's more broken down.
Mm-hmm.
I think Herbert and T-Law are about in that same kind of category where
Yeah.
they can be a QB possible 5, but that's the whole thing. Like Carson's talking about, they
Mm-hmm.
have to be like Patrick Mahomes to be QB 5. Justin Fields, he can be like Cam Newton, and he can get into
Yeah.
that top 5 easy, if
He
not top
could.
4. Like
He
he
could.
doesn't have to pass that well. He just has to run. He just has to just score a little bit, but he doesn't have to do much. That's why Jalen did so good. And I'll be honest, I want to say I feel like a lot of people are kind of not understanding Jalen's ceiling, because I feel like his ceiling is still yet to be uncovered, because half of the games, if you watch Philly last year, did not play in the second half. We really scored.
Yeah.
We were up by 3
Yeah.
scores going into half, and we were like, we're just going to run. Fuck. We're
Yeah,
not
your
playing.
games were so boring to watch. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
like the first half was fun, bro. I'd be like, fuck yeah. I'd get so high. I'm like,
Yeah.
Brian, go to bed early. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe y'all choked.
Dude. All right. Talking about choke. Hold on. You want to talk about choke? Fucking Chargers, bro.
It's the coach.
T-Law had 4 interceptions going into the half. In the fucking half, dude, y'all fucking gobbled.
Yeah,
fucking
you know, the
damn
worst
cookie.
part is yeah, we gobbled something now, that's for sure. Worst part is you're watching it. You're watching, you just know. You know, it's like Chargers aren't over that hump yet. They finally have the quarterback of the future and the present, and you just know they're up to like 28-3. It's like some fucking Brady shit, and they lose 31-28 or 34-31.
Yeah, it's like you go to fucking bed, then you go to like wake up and you go to wait, are my eyes crusty or is the score?
I know.
fucking
Yeah, I watched
Jags
all of it,
win?
stayed up and everything.
Yeah.
Terrible, man. Terrible.
brutal.
Yeah, I'm with you. What's y'all's take on Dak? They got him my thing here at 10, QB 10.
Dude, Dak is my favorite for most interceptions this year.
You've been watching the training camp videos.
Yeah, I don't know.
I hate how people buy into that shit in training camp. Like, that shit doesn't mean anything. Like,
Yeah, I
they're just
agree. Yeah, I mean, training camp videos are definitely sensational. It's something for the media to report on. You know, my favorite excerpt now to cite is everyone was all over Isaiah Pacheco last year. I mean, everyone. Good Morning Football was sucking him off. And he's, again, very good, very fast. Should have done well, but that Chiefs offense, they kind of have a running back room, right? Clyde, Pacheco, whoever. So, yeah, I mean, if you're seeing those interceptions, yeah, he'll have some. I mean, he's going to have double digit, don't get me wrong. But, yeah, they're rough.
Yeah, I mean, there's talking about people buzz in camp right now. What are y'all's take on old Calvin Ridley? I feel like he's been getting buzzed. I've seen the videos, him popping, like it had Zay running, and then all of a sudden Calvin just busting out of that thing.
Dude, he's going to have a
lot of-
comeback.
Dude, a lot of people are projecting him to end up being in that wide receiver 1 category by the end of the show. So,
Wow.
curious
Wow.
about
Yeah.
not like overall 1, just wide receiver.
No,
1.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, he's gonna have a great year. He would be a really good candidate for comeback player of the year if it wasn't already DeMar's award. He's like dude, literally he's like minus 240 for the award. It's kind of fucked up. Because he's gonna get it. But he should. But yeah, no, he's gonna do really well. They overpaid for Christian Kirk. He's a B tier receiver at best, so really is easy 1,000-yard receiver, and he's gonna ball out 100%. Definitely will be on my radar for that mid to late pick, depending on where his ADP is.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he could be a good flex play depending on if you draft wide receivers or running backs first.
All right.
Yeah, another one we haven't discussed. Jets with Rodgers under the helm. You're going to see Garrett Wilson hit another level in their stratosphere. And I would take him after that, you know. Well, not the first year of Jefferson Chase, but that next year, he's probably bottoming that out for me.
Do the Jets around the Bills this year?
No, see the Jets. You know, I feel like we've seen this before. Big ticket quarterback goes to the team, and you know they're expected to do so well and be amazing off the rip. So you know your most recent ones are Brady, who did win a Super Bowl, took him a year, and then Manning back in the day. They're going to do well, but if anything, I'd be more high on them next year than this year. He's got to assimilate. It's a different system. He's still studied. He's still going to be one of the most talented quarterbacks in the league. But it's also just different division, different personnel. I see them maybe at best third in the division. Because I think people also are going to sleep on the Patriots. I'm not saying they're winning it. It's still a division. You never know. Like there's a scenario. You never know, because there's a scenario now. He can just keep running the ball. Look back to that snow game where he threw like 3 passes and they won the fucking game. Like Bill Belichick is still the greatest coach.
Wilson, bro.
That is true. They're going to split the series. They're going to split the series. Like the Jets will split it with the Patriots. The Jets will split it with the Bills or lose both. And then I could see maybe like the Jets like beating the Dolphins twice, or the Dolphins, like they're such a good team, but they're also, who fucking knows? There's just something about him, man. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's them, like.
Down.
Yeah, I mean, also, too. I mean, he's a walking crip at this point. Like the fact he's still alive and is insane after all his concussions. They, on paper, right? They have the fastest receiving room. No, quite literally, probably the 2 fast receivers, in Waddle and Hill. Then they have one of the fastest running back rooms, one of the best coaches, but somehow I feel like they'll still find a way to fuck it up. So they could either be 2 or they could be 4.
They're going to be hot in the beginning, and then they're going to cool down. And by the time playoffs come off, they're going to get ran over. I'll be honest. My take for that whole division, Buffalo wins it, but Jets are going to sneak in playoff position, and they're going to make a run because Bryce Hall will be full power by then. Their defense is going to be turning it up by then. And Aaron Rodgers is going to be well within the works of that whole entire team, figuring out how they run. Because if you look, I think they have the toughest first 6 games, so they'll probably go close to 500 in those first 6 games. After that, they got a little bit of a cake schedule. They're going to build enough up to get into the playoff spot. And I think they're going to make a run until they meet Pittsburgh.
You're right. And Aaron Rodgers, I see here, he's 41-14 in the month of December. Like most great quarterbacks, Mahomes is up there as well. So they could very well take that, probably the second to last wild card spot, in what is still the weaker NFC. AFC, after last year, 2 years ago, is now the dominant division. It's weird to see for sure. I'll switch a little bit. I'll go Bills, Jets then too. But I just don't, like, people who think they'll win a division. Yes, there's a case, but I don't want them to buy into the hype, because I don't think they're there yet, even though Rodgers is the most talented quarterback we've ever seen.
Hey, it's crazy to think we're only a year away from his MVP. I mean, it wasn't just about a year ago. MVP, so.
And he should have more, honestly. So
and I'm not comparing him to Brady, but Brady, when he threw that interception that last playoff game over there in the Patriots, I was like, dude, this dude's fucking wild. He's done. Dude, I mean, what did he do over there in Tampa? I'm not saying, but they've kind of built an Avenger type team over there in the Jets, and it's gonna be interesting to see how they take off. But if you're in a league that people don't really understand exactly who they have, or you got some people who fucking their ankles shake a little bit once they start losing some games, I think Jets are the best trade for targets after those 6 weeks, because they're gonna be they're not gonna be doing it performing as what they should, and you can pick some people up. I think you're gonna pick up people like Garrett Wilson, especially possibly Breece Hall. Well, Breece Hall, people are probably going to buy into the whole thing if he's not going to quite be there in the beginning. But, it should be interesting. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of trading for some.
That's a good point. Are you guys both kind of looking to take on trades at any point in the season, or are you kind of like your team where it's at, pick up people on the wire?
Dude, I'll be honest. I don't know how you are, Skadger, but last year, there was times I was dealing with people. Eckler was on the table for me, bro. Everybody's on the fucking block because I'm Howie. If a deal's going to happen, I'll make a fucking deal happen if it makes sense for my team to get better. Because, to be honest, I get to a point, I don't know about y'all, I get to a point where I make trades towards the end of the season. It might, like, for instance, I might trade away a better player, but I'm trading for someone who has a better playoff schedule. So I'm buying into more of they got the better matchups. I'm playing matchups instead of playing a player. Like, for instance, someone who's going against last year, who Tampa, or someone who's a running back going against the 49ers, bro. 49ers have the best run defense, whatever. I'll trade away a Christian McCaffrey for someone like maybe who's like a Bijan, or maybe someone's a little bit lower, but they have like fucking cake matchups at the very end. Obviously, skills completely different, but I love a fucking good matchup, bro.
That's a good point. And, for me, I think it's an ego thing. I love my players. I drafted them. I took them in round one. I took them in round
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to the end. I don't want to get rid of them. I already took a chance. Even the shitters. I mean, there's people like Pickens. I think I held on to Pickens all last year, just waiting for him to pop off. Like he's got it. He's in his bag. He's got that. He's got the arsenal.
Yeah.
I love it too much. So I did I finally made my first trade in another league last year. And it was like Diggs for like 2 running backs because my room got just absolutely obliterated with injuries.
Yeah.
And I lost. So I'm iffy on trading. And I was also the top scoring in that league too. So I'm still iffy on trading. But that is a good point. You could maybe even incorporate that into your draft strategy somehow. I'm not saying it dictates the top of it, but maybe towards the end, maybe some RB2s on teams that have cake matchups, what it seems like at the end of the season. Maybe a little prediction access, but yeah.
What about you?
What about yeah, go ahead.
What was that?
So what about you, you fucking nut? What's your plan?
The plan? Oh, like trades, you mean?
Yeah, like as far as
Oh.
if someone likes to trade, doesn't like to
I feel like
trade.
you don't have a plan.
No. I understand both of it. Yeah, typically I don't, but I understand what both y'all are saying because at the same time, like how Carson was saying, you drafted him, it's hard to let him go. I originally fell under that, but I think last year I made a couple trades.
Yeah.
But I think I'd more side on what Matt's doing. I need to get in that mindset of playing the matchups, what makes sense for your team. If it makes sense to trade away Diggs for 2 running backs, then that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, or if you're in
gonna
survival
say-
mode.
I was gonna tell you one thing. I know who's fucking talking, okay? Hold up. I was gonna say I will give away a Christian McCaffrey for a Derrick Henry who has the Texans in a playoff matchup. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm giving up
Yeah.
someone like that for someone who's got that fucking like that
I got you.
fucking
Yeah.
Yeti matchup, baby. I want that.
Yeah, historic performances kind
I
of thing.
remember that.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I mean, for me, the only time in the early to middle of the season, I would trade is if I'm in desperation mode, which usually doesn't happen. Hopefully again we're good, but yeah, I mean, like kind of blow it up and prey on some downfalls of some RB1s, maybe get some backups, maybe get some wide receivers as well. That's the only time I'd have to trade if I'm in desperation mode. But other than that, man, I mean, I know how to pick them. I'm gonna sit with that and go to the free agency, fucking ride it out. It's been a while since I've been on top, though.
Yeah. I
Hey,
mean,
this
I
year's
thought it was
weird.
a pretty good pod there. What do you think, Sky?
Yeah, no, that was good. Carson, final thing I want to ask you real quick before we end this thing. What's your strategy for drafting a defense/special teams? Because this is supposed to be a fantasy guy. Because a lot of times I don't know what to do. Like, I'll go in leagues past, I'll go week to week, just pick them up. I've done that. But I also too drafted like the Niners D like way too early, and I've gotten made fun of for it. So
Yeah.
strategy?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
feel like
Yeah.
it's
Sorry.
dependent on your league too. I mean, like
It does. It does. I know with our league, and maybe it's typical of other ones. People, teams, defenses, kickers, whatever, they generally do get drafted earlier. I mean, I remember a couple years back when Younghoe Koo was on top, he got drafted like 13 or 14, like something insane for a kicker. You know what I mean? Like we see a couple of irrational
Is this an
decisions.
Chris.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah,
God.
might have been the newlywed, but yeah, yeah. I mean, personally, again, I do like the week to week matchup. I kind of do that as well. Or, I take a defense that maybe I think is revamped. They're a little bit lower on the draft board per se, even though you're in the last rounds. I just pick them up. I mean, it's kind of like how I look at QBs. Kicker, no matter what, I'm going last round. They're all the fucking same. Defense, yeah. I mean, I'm looking at I guess you're 4 through the rest of them, and just kind of whenever my picks up, taking what I feel is the best available.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's wrap this thing up. Carson, we appreciate you coming on, discussing a little fantasy football. If you guys want to
Yes,
see more,
thank you.
let us know. We can do like a divisional outlook or playoff games, or not playoff games, season totals, maybe yardage totals for quarterbacks, receiving yards, stuff like that. So let us know. But this has been Rethink Reality. Appreciate you guys watching. Peace.
Deuce.
Oh, Matt just left. Hey, we were gonna do one more podcast real quick, like 20 minutes, if you don't mind.
I'm unemployed. I don't give a fuck.
Hell yeah. We gotta wait for Matt to join back though.
Dude, yeah, man, this shit's like, what, 3 weeks, so 2.5? I mean, shit.
Yeah. No, it's coming up.
It is.
I don't know what we're gonna do for Europe. Hopefully, we can get like connection over there to where we can like set our lineups and shit.
I didn't even, yeah, you can get, because, you guys are in hostels, right?
We ended up going the hotel route.
You went hotel?
Yeah.
Dude, actually, I don't know what the pricing is like for that. I know it's more expensive, but is it even that expensive or?
I mean, it is a little bit, but we were just like, fuck it. We just want to, not have to deal with
I
no
don't know
air
why for some
conditioning
reason
or.
Sure, I guess. Damn, well, were you kind of like that fearful of hostels? I mean, they're pretty cheap. I won't lie.
No, we weren't fearful. It was just, I don't know. They ended up being around the same price, maybe like 20, 30, 40 bucks more than hotels. So
Euros.
we're fucking.
Yeah.
But it was like total though, because bro, the problem was the hostels we were paying per bed, but hotels were paying per room.
Yeah.
So we were like, by adding it up, bro, it ended up with like.
Oh, I think I see it now. You guys doing a little, you know what I mean? Same bed type shit?
Oh, bro, in Rome, we got 150 square foot.
Oh my. Dude, okay, I know what those are like. Because when my boys were in Paris and I had nowhere to stay because I fucked up, it was the same thing. It was slanted too. Those rooms are tiny,
Yeah.
and you better be on good terms with each other because that shit is.
Oh, bro.
It's like this, bro. Oh my god.
Oh,
Holy
yeah.
shit. Well, hopefully that was like less than €50 or some shit.
It was pretty. I can't remember what we ended
Yeah.
up looking for, but I mean, we got a pretty good deal on it. We were going to go down to the Naples area and stay there, but we decided to stay in Rome. And right now we got a train that's going to take us like early a.m. to the Amalfi. We'll hang out there. for a
Yeah,
little bit.
I didn't get to go, man. You gotta check it out though. My boys that went loved it. And if you are able to hit Naples because that's on the way, I mean, best pizza in the world. I'm not even like capping. It's just that's kind of like the birthplace almost. Napolitano pizza is amazing. It's really, really fucking gritty there too, in the sense that like that's kind of where the culture of Italy is. But I don't know. I'm curious what you guys will see. I was trying to go and I was like, "Yo, Matt, let's do it. This is the year." And he's like, "Let's go in January or February of next year." I was like, "Fuck it." So I know money's tight for him, I guess, even though he makes more than all of us. But yeah.
All right, let's start this next one. Try to keep this one like kind of quick hitting, maybe like 20 minutes or so. That way, I don't know if people are gonna want to watch a. What the fuck are you doing?
He's doing his shirt change.
Yeah, bro. You guys are so funny.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this fits perfect. Yeah, get
Oh, there goes my pod.
This is perfect, bro. We're about to queue up for your ass. Huh?
Yo, what'd you say, pussy? Yo, what's good, bro?
Stop fucking putting the wrinkles.
Yeah, there
in
you
your
go.
head,
That's the vibe we need for this pod.
Dude, the wrinkles are OD.
How do you want to do this? Do you want me to ask first? Ask my 3 first, and then you ask your 3, or do you just want to alternate?
We're just riffing, right? Just riffing with
Let's take turns,
Griffin?
bro.
Kind
Just
of.
fucking take turns.
Yeah.
I'll go into the room, fucking hit it, and then you come into the room and hit it, and then I go in the room and
Like,
hit
you know what I mean? We're talking about the same type, you know what I mean? And put that bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yo, Ryan, I need a little bit more out of you, man. You're piggybacking off us, you know what I mean? Show me some energy. Get some coffee, you know what I mean? Let's hype yourself up, boy. Browns are winning the division. Let's go.
Hey, let's go.
Crack out a little.
Yeah, last
All right.
place. All right, let's do it.
Yeah, let's fucking record. I'm gonna go ahead.
3, 2, 1. Hey. Oh. Hey.